Hello and welcome. Today, we're going to dive into a revolution that's happening not in the fields, but in the financial world that supports them. We're talking about how artificial intelligence is completely rewriting the rules for agricultural finance, basically turning farm data into a new, powerful kind of digital cash.
So let's just kick things off with a question that honestly sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, right? What if a farmer could get a crucial loan in less time than it takes to brew a pot of coffee using nothing more than a satellite way up in the sky and the phone they have in their pocket? Well, this isn't some far-off dream. It's the reality that AI is building as we speak. So let's get into how this all works. But first, you gotta ask, why is this change so desperately needed? Well, it's because the old way of doing things, the traditional system of farm finance, it's fundamentally broken. We are talking about a massive billion-dollar problem that has left millions of farmers completely locked out of the economy. So what's been the big roadblock? As you can see, the barriers are just huge. First off, a lot of loans demand a formal land title, which millions of small farmers, and especially women farmers, simply don't have. Then there's the cost. For a bank to send someone out to a farm to check things out, it can cost up to $200 a pop. You put all that together and you end up with millions of credit-invisible farmers. These are people who are working hard and are incredibly productive, but to the banking system, they might as well not exist. And this comparison just lays it all out, plain and simple. The difference is night and day. We're shifting from a system that's slow, bogged down in paperwork, and frankly exclusionary, to a new way that's fast, data-driven, and way more inclusive. But the most important change, the real game changer, is that last line. We're moving from a system based on what you own to one based on what you can grow. Okay, so how do we actually build this brand new system? Well, it all starts with laying the groundwork. You can think of it like building digital highways or the plumbing for a smart city. You need that foundation before you can do anything else. And in agriculture, we call this the digital public infrastructure. Digital public infrastructure, or DPI for short, is basically the set of shared digital systems that a country can build on. Just like we all rely on roads and electricity, DPI provides the essential digital pipes for things like identity, payments, and sharing data. It creates this solid foundation that everything else can connect to. And here's how all those pipes connect in what's called the Agri Stack. First, farmer registries give every single farmer their own unique digital ID. Then that ID gets linked to their specific plot of land through digital land records. Next, all the really important farm data. We're talking soil health, weather patterns, what the crop yields have been, it all gets pooled together. And finally, the Unified Lending Interface, or ULI, brings it all home. It's like a single, secure window where banks can see all this data instantly, with the farmer's permission, of course. It's a total game changer. So if the DPI and the Agri Stack are the digital plumbing, then artificial intelligence, well, AI is the smart faucet. It's the brains of the operation that takes this incredible flow of data and uses it to deliver financial services that are precise, automated, and truly revolutionary. This right here, this is probably the single most important rule of this new era. Data is the new collateral. A farm's productivity, its potential, its ability to handle a drought, all of that is now captured in data. And that becomes the asset that backs a loan, not some dusty piece of paper in a filing cabinet. This is where the magic really starts to happen. Contactless asset verification basically means banks now have an eye in the sky. Satellites can measure a farm's exact boundaries, they can confirm what crop is being grown, and they can even monitor its health in real time. They use things like the NDVI index, which is essentially a way to measure the greenness and health of plants from space. And you might be wondering, okay, but how reliable is this eye in the sky? Well, the reported accuracy is a stunning 91%. Just think about what that means for a bank. That's a level of certainty that's more than high enough to replace those expensive, time-consuming farm visits. It's that confidence that lets them shrink the loan decision time from weeks down to literally minutes. Now, with all of this new data flowing in, AI can create something truly transformative, an alternative credit score. See, instead of looking at whether you've paid back loans in the past, which a small farmer might not have, it looks at your future potential. It crunches satellite data on your past yields, your mobile money patterns, and even climate data to build this really rich, forward-looking profile of how likely you are to succeed. And here's a fantastic real-world example of that, the Sarabi score. It uses computer vision, AI for images, to digitize a cow just from a simple picture on a phone. The app analyzes the cow to predict its health and how much milk it can produce. It even sorts them into risk zones, red, amber, or green. Suddenly, the livestock itself becomes a bankable digital asset. This is huge for empowering women in the dairy sector, since they often manage these animals but have no formal collateral to their name. AI is also completely flipping the script on risk management through something called Parametric Insurance. Instead of a farmer having to wait weeks for an inspector to come and assess drought damage, this kind of insurance is tied to a specific, measurable trigger. Think of it like this. If a satellite-verified weather station shows that rainfall dropped below a certain level, bam, the policy pays out, automatically. No arguments, no delays, just immediate cash when it's needed most.
And the engine that powers all this automation? A lot of the time, it's a blockchain-based smart contract. This is just a digital agreement that's programmed to execute itself. Once the AI confirms that the conditions have been met, like that drought trigger we just talked about, the contract automatically releases the payment. It's secure, it's transparent, and it is unbelievably fast. So, you put all these pieces together, and what's the bottom line? Just look at these numbers. Loan processing times, they don't just get shorter, they collapse from weeks down to under 10 minutes. Transaction costs get slashed by over a third. And because the risk is so much better understood, default rates can be cut by nearly half. This isn't just a small improvement, it's a complete and total transformation. So where is all of this headed? The future that's being built right now is one where finance becomes not only autonomous, but also deeply connected to the environmental health of our planet. The ultimate vision is something called farming as a service, or FaaS. Just imagine a single digital platform on a farmer's phone. It gives AI-driven advice on when to plant and what fertilizer to use, and then it seamlessly offers the exact microloan needed to buy those things, all in one tap. Finance stops being a separate, stressful thing and just becomes an embedded, invisible part of running the farm. And this is where it gets really exciting. Green credit scoring. Using satellite data and AI, you can now verify if a farmer is using sustainable practices, like water-saving irrigation or farming in a way that stores carbon in the soil. Banks can then automatically reward that good behavior with better loan terms, like a lower interest rate. It creates this powerful financial reason to farm in a more climate-friendly way. Now, of course, this amazing future isn't without its challenges. Let's be real. The cost of some of this tech can be high. There are still big gaps in digital literacy, and we have to figure out really important questions about data privacy. Plus, for the banks, trying to plug these new AI systems into their ancient IT infrastructure is a huge, huge project. But the change is unstoppable because the fundamental question of credit is being rewritten. This quote absolutely nails it. We are moving from a backward-looking model based on your history to a forward-looking one based on your real-time potential. It's a total shift in perspective. And that leaves us with one last big thought to chew on. What happens when every single farm, no matter how small, no matter how remote, has its own dedicated, intelligent, AI-powered banker in its pocket? What does that mean for global food security, for rural poverty, and for the health of our planet? The digital harvest is really just beginning. Thanks for watching.